fundamental reason for having a guardian, in my view, is the being available, having somebody available in an emergency. So an emergency can be, well, it can be anything, can't it? But typically emergencies would be if the taxi hasn't arrived and they've got a flight to catch, or perhaps a student's got lost, or a student has become ill and they need to go to hospital, and maybe they're either at the homestay or at school, but school can't send a staff member. It may be that the student has got in trouble with the police. So there's lots of different scenarios, and over 30 years that we've been acting as guardian, we have handled a lot of emergencies. These are things that you can't have predicted, and they've just happened, and they need handling straight away. So, of course, we hope that none of our students have emergencies. We hope that they are always healthy, that they are always well behaved, that they always know where they're going, that they have their phone on all the time, they're good at communicating, and we hope nothing bad happens to them. That, of course, we want that. And for most students, that's exactly what happens. They don't have an emergency. Most students don't have an emergency, which is great. However, there are some students who do have an emergency, and guardianship, that's when parents and students and schools and agents and homestays, that's when those people realise the value of guardianship. A good guardian can help in an emergency, no matter where the emergency happens or what the emergency is. Already know we have staff throughout all of the UK. We have dealt with, as I said, emergencies for over 30 years, some very, very serious emergencies, and some is a typical emergency. It's an emergency to the student. The taxi's not turned up, you need to know where it is. Well, in that moment it's an emergency, and we understand that. But other ones, where it really is life or death situations, we have been there. We remain calm. We have experience that we can then, handle those situations, as I say, calmly and efficiently. And we would keep all the parties informed. So we are the ones that you can rely on to, make sure that there's a resolution. Other emergencies that I didn't mention actually are when, so I mentioned about misbehaving. So it can be, outside of school, the student maybe have misbehaved and is in trouble with the police, or some other people. But even within school, students can misbehave. They can therefore be suspended or expelled. And in those moments, the schools want a quick outcome. And it's not always possible for parents to be available or know how to support students or understand really what the schools are expecting of the students or the families. So our job in those emergencies are to communicate with you and really explain what outcome, what are the available outcomes, what are the options, and what path would be best to take. And if in cases of emergencies where you are not available, we can't get hold of you, then guardianship means that you trust us to use our knowledge, experience, judgment to make those decisions on your behalf. So if a student's in hospital or has gone missing, and we need to involve the police, for example, but it's in the middle of the night where you are, then and we can't get hold of you, maybe your phone's on silent, then we would be dealing with the police or whatever the process is, and we would be keeping you updated as much as we can. Okay, so I don't like to talk about the emergencies because as I say, we hope they never happen, but it's a possibility that you need to be aware of. And honestly, for some families, they really don't understand guardianship. They don't particularly want guardianship. It may feel like a extra cost that the schools or the visa immigration process is forcing families to have, but it's because there is a good value in having a good guardian, someone who can do the job. We are trusted by many schools to act as an emergency guardianship. So what that means is the schools may have some students who have chosen a different guardian. It's not StudyLinks. Then those students may have an emergency, and those guardians, basically, they don't do the job that they need to do. So the schools cannot rely on them, nor can the students or the family. So in that situation, where there's an emergency happening and the guardian is not doing their job, then the school will telephone StudyLinks and ask us to be the emergency guardianship for the duration of that emergency. I hope it shows you that we are trusted by schools. We can do the job, and a good guardian really is absolutely key.